Started tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for coming tonight. Start the work session. Jim Post will not be here today under the weather. It's going around. So, first thing right off the bat, we have a presentation from our engineer Larry Paggi about our MS4 report.
That's right. Okay. So a lot of the faces I haven't seen. I'm Larry Paggi. I'm your engineer. Been here since 2014, in case you didn't know that. So I'm here to talk to you tonight about MS4. And the reason I'm here to talk to you about MS4 is because there was a permit renewal that came about in January that is imposing some additional requirements on all MS4 communities.
I'm sorry, can you get even
A
closer?
little bit more?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll talk louder. How
All right.
about that? I was trying not to talk too loud because I know I have a big mouth. Is any explanation needed for what an MS4 is?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So MS4 is an acronym for Municipal Separate Storm Sewer Systems. It's a regulation. There was a broad-reaching regulation that came through back in 2003 from the DEC. It was handed down from federal government, from the EPA to the DEC. And it has evolved since then. It came through in the form of two permits. One permit regulates construction activities, and another permit regulates municipal activities. The MS4 pertains to one of those permits. It's an MS4 permit, and then there's also a construction activity permit. They're kind of a little bit hand in hand. The MS4 has certain responsibilities of implementing the construction stormwater permit. So basically what an MS4 is, it's a municipality that's been designated by the DEC to have to implement the requirements of the permit. DEC passed on the responsibilities to the municipalities. And the reason why the town of Mamakating was designated as an MS4 was because of a small area down on its southern border with Mount Hope in the area of Upper Road, where there's some roads, Witt Drive, Cornfield Road, Valleyfield Drive, and also one other upper road, Shirley Drive. That area was considered an urbanized area. That's what qualifies a municipality to become an MS4. It's a population density in an area, and that's how they determine whether a municipality would be required to assume these responsibilities. The regulations were good. The regulations were all intended to promote protection of surface waters, cleanliness of surface waters. The implementation of those regulations was a challenge for developers, municipalities, and engineers. It was kind of dumped in everybody's lap, and we all kind of figured it out together. It's 2003. It's been a long time. There's the DEC's permits, they strive to renew them every 5 years and to update them. The most recent permit, let me give you a little bit more background. I've sat on a steering committee for MS4s, the Dutchess County MS4s. There's 14 MS4 communities in Dutchess County. It was started back in 2003. I've sat on that board since 2000 and that committee since 2005. In reviewing the new permit that came out, it was agreed that it's going to be a real challenge for municipalities to take on all these additional changes that are being passed along. And what I can do is I actually that committee asked me to prepare an outline of, yes. The committee asked me to prepare an outline in layman's terms, what the new requirements are going to be. Some of the members that sit on that committee have actually put together some preliminary estimates, ballpark budgets of what they think it's going to cost their municipality. And some of them are thinking 6 to 7 figures. Not just for the administrative end, but actually implementing them in the field too. So the reason I'm here tonight is that I believe that the town of Mamakating, I believe that our town no longer meets the threshold to be considered an MS4. The 2010 census and the 2020 census looks like that area that I mentioned down by Upper Road no longer would be classified as an urbanized area. Over the past 5 years, I've gotten mixed information from the DEC. Some individuals I've spoken to have said, once you're an MS4, you're always an MS4 because we want everybody to become an MS4 eventually. But more recently, there's been enough communities with these additional regulations who have said, listen, we don't have the personnel, we don't have the population density. So I've been advised that the DEC will consider a request for a waiver from the MS4. So I'm here to recommend that to you. That if you think it's in the best interest of the town, and I do, I can prepare a letter, a request to the DEC for your consideration to submit, asking to be removed as an MS4. Now, let me tell you what that means. In the planning board, developers going to come in. They're still going to have to comply with all the regulations for the construction stormwater permit. If there's over an acre disturbance, they're going to have to prepare a SWIP. They're going to have to put all the stormwater controls in. We, as becoming an MS4, we were required to adopt certain laws and implement changes to our code. Those changes in our code will remain and will continue to protect the environment unless the town consciously decides it doesn't want to do that, which I don't think it would ever want to do. I mean, they were good changes. Ben, I think one of the changes that if we do end up becoming removed is in the zoning section of the code under stormwater, where it classifies, where it identifies the town as an MS4 in talking about illicit discharges. Now, we would still want to protect the town against illicit discharges, but I think we would want to just change the verbiage to say the town instead of the MS4. Mm-hmm. So I don't think there's many changes. All of the critical physical requirements, I think, would remain. What would be removed would really be the administrative items. We wouldn't have to prepare an annual report. We wouldn't have to keep inventories of all of the construction sites. We wouldn't have to prepare for audits to make sure we're documenting all this. The MS4, what I see the MS4 really is, the function of an MS4 is it's the ability to document that things are happening so the DEC can give that to the EPA to show that they're meeting the requirements. Is that from me?
No.
Get some feedback somewhere.
Yeah. We're not really sure where it's coming from.
International.
It's not you.
Okay.
It's happened before. Is it Dawn?
So I mean, we would not be required to do inspections of construction sites, but we probably still will. We would not be required to review SWIPs from the planning board, but we probably will, because those are things that will continue to protect the environment. What we wouldn't have to do is document how many we've reviewed, how many sites we've been visiting, what the the frequency of them was. So it's a huge relief on the town as far as
Administrative
yeah,
fees.
administrative items. Now, again, if you just glanced at this, there's new mapping requirements that would come in. The hope would be that we would be removed. We would be granted the waiver, so we wouldn't have to prepare the additional mapping requirements. There's additional education requirements. Municipal officials have to be trained. Public has to be trained. A lot more documentation is required with a new permit, to the point where it almost seems like there'd have to be a designated MS4 department, established in the municipality. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Somewhat familiar with the area. I don't live there, but looking at the population density, it just the general neighborhood of where it is, what classifies that as an urbanized area more so than some of the other places in town, which seem to have just as high a population density, houses per, on a block per square foot, whatever, that would.
I want to say it was like 1,000 people per square mile or something like that, but I could be off on that. It's a certain population density, and that area met it at that particular time. It might not be even that large an area.
But I mean, if I look at that area of the town, Cornfield, Karen Joy, or you're on that whole end of the Middletown end of it. Why wouldn't we be looking at Blue Sky, looking at Worksboro Hills? I mean, much higher population density than what you're talking about. And
it's a census in an area, whatever the census results were in a total area. Maybe Blue Sky isn't a large enough area. Maybe if there's a certain threshold, it's got to be over a certain area as well. So, it may be that Blue Sky has a very high population density for where it is, but per square mile, what's around it, maybe
where would I go to get some clarification there?
As what an urbanized area is.
Right.
You can just go online and Google it, urbanized area. That's, if you do, I mean, that's where the information that I'm gathering is coming from, that we are no longer meeting those thresholds. Actually, this map here that I showed you, the purple area in the legend, the legend indicates that no longer urbanized area based on 2010 census.
So we're 14 years away from that.
Right. Right.
And what to what detriment would it be if we decided to give it up? I mean, it sounds like there could be a great expense to the town, and obviously, a lot more work that's involved with it. If we've
always been paying it. But Larry's telling us we don't have to do it anymore, so we'd be saving money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, but are we giving anything up? Is there safety or?
I don't think you're giving anything up that you don't want to give up. There are certain things that you can continue to do if you want to continue to do them. There's certain things that we have to do because we have to require that developers submit a SWIP in order to give them an approval if they've got over an acre of disturbance, because that's what's required in the regulations. It's just like the DOH requirements for septic systems. If there's a subdivision of over 5 lots, it's a realty subdivision, so they have to get Board of Health approval. If it's over an acre of disturbance, they got to get a DEC permit. So
we're still doing all those things.
All those things are still happening. What really is just coming off your plate is the record keeping, and the reporting.
So
Thank you.
it wouldn't affect SWIPs in regards to inspections.
So theoretically, the DEC is required to do the inspections if for any municipality that's not a MS4. But you have every right to do the inspections, and I think it's in our code right now that says that we will do the inspections. So until we change it, you have every right to continue to do the inspection. You just don't have to keep track of them and report them.
Right, because you just did the one Winters Lane too. You just did that one within the last 6 months, right?
Right,
Yeah, because they needed to inspect it based on the wetlands.
right.
So
So-
basically, all Larry's saying is that we're gonna save some administrative fees on this.
And time
and
and
time.
manpower and agita, I think.
Now, Ben, has other towns come across this also that you take care of, or?
This is the first one that I've heard of, but the difference here is that most of the other towns don't have the ability to, get this waiver from DEC.
Because of their population.
Right.
There is one municipality in Dutchess County that's seeking the waiver as well. And they've been seeking it since 2010 as well, 2010 as well. So I actually just talked to Natalie Wood, Natalie Brown yesterday. Yeah, that would have been good if I talked to
Dating
Natalie Wood,
yourself,
right? And trying to get some procedural information on how to go about it. And it appears that it's a matter of a letter. There's a flow chart that the DEC uses. When you start investigating, you may come across this. And basically, one of the first thing is it says, does the MS4 serve a population of less than 1,000 within the urbanized area? And if the answer is no, then you may be entitled for a waiver. So, and then on the bottom, there's no form or anything. It says a waiver request must be sent to the MS4 coordinator up in Albany. So I would imagine it's a preparation of a letter, giving them the information of why we qualify for the waiver and asking them to grant it.
Okay.
Where is that boundary documented?
Say that again.
The boundary that determines the population? I mean, you have a map, but what is that determined by?
It's the census.
But of how do they define the boundaries? Yeah.
It's the DEC develops a map. It's a document developed by the DEC outlining where the urbanized area are based on the census. So they must have some algorithm or something that takes the areas, and wherever the algorithm shows up that there's more than this amount of people in this amount of area, it indicates that that's an urbanized area.
Sounds like AI.
Do we,
But
do we,
just
do we
just
have,
a random boundary. I mean, they just,
I don't know that it would, I think it probably does a search, and
Like for
if it was
subdivisions?
shifted over one area, the lines would be different.
It's
you know.
probably similar to like the wetlands maps you can get from them, right? You go online, you see where.
Yeah,
wetlands
it is.
maps are.
It is. Yes. It's a record document in their mapping. Yes. Yeah. And they actually have them, I think, back from when they first started, 2003, 2007, whatever it was, when the first maps came out, 2010, and then again in 2020 after the census again. So,
is there a time limit on this, Larry, that we have to get this waiver in by?
I don't know. There is not, but, there is a time limit on complying with the new permit and spending the money to be in conformance.
All
So the document I gave you is what we were supposed to have done by July,
Ah.
this past July. And there's an interim report that's due in October that asks if we qualify for those things.
Because I was just, if the board wanted to investigate it a little bit more and then have an answer for you by
Sure.
our next meeting.
That would be fine.
Okay,
And in the meantime, I'll continue to dive into the procedural requirements and try to get that all firmed up. So if you decide to move forward, we can write the letter and get it in.
okay.
Okay.
Everybody good with that?
And if any questions come up, Mike, just
Yep.
give me an email, give me a call. If you need me back here, let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
again,
anybody has any questions, we have Larry's email. You can,
Yeah.
No.
With the, I think what Peter was trying to add was we would like to see the boundaries of what they counted as that urban.
He's got it right there.
Yeah, that's,
It's that map right there.
right off of that.
Okay, Larry, thanks. We're gonna do some homework on our own and then we'll make a decision. But one way or another, which way we go.
That sounds good.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And I think thinking of us save some money. So
Yeah, I think, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think it was a good thing for the town. So again, if you have any questions, please let me know.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next is budget modifications. Everybody check out the budget modifications from Ann? Anybody have any questions?
No.
No? All right, moving on. Appoint Andrew Mendicott to the Board of Assessment Review. Andrew took over somebody's term. So that's why we're gonna reappoint Andrew to the Board of Assessment because his new term would be the 6-year term. Five-year term. So that's why we're gonna renew Andrew's thing. Bid for gasoline, fuel oil, diesel oil, fuel, calcium and rock salt. Tommy has all that information. Did you leave? He must have left. He was here a minute ago.
Well, he knew you were gonna bring that up, so. he-
Yeah. Well, everybody got a chance to look at him. He'll mention it in his report also. So if anybody has any questions for him. Get them then. Next is the Trooper Barracks lease. We finally got that going and together just renew their lease over until 2029. So they asked for it to be, now that we did the addition, they want it to be the square footage to be bigger and just to update it because it hadn't been updated since 2010. So Ben went over the whole thing and we got it where we kind of need it to be. So the troopers have it, they've accepted it. So we'll vote on that tonight. Everybody read it, right?
Yep.
Next is pickleball tennis court painting. So we had a bid out the other day. We had some interest, but only one person ended up bidding. So we had that bid tonight. Everybody got a chance to look at it. It was a bit on more of the expensive side than we thought. Came in at 57,000 to paint everything. Yeah. We had gotten a price a year and a half ago and it was like 29,000. So one of the reasons why the guy said that paint has gone through the roof in the last year. Especially the fancy paint that we have to use for the pickleball courts. So.
And a sealer too, right?
And it's a sealer too. So at the end,
Leveling.
yeah, which he actually looked at and he said it's not terrible at all. So he shouldn't have a problem with any of that stuff. So, anybody have any questions about that? What we will do with that is take it out of the Park Midland account. That's the money we get from subdivisions and stuff for the parks. We have plenty of money in there.
I know. I choked a little bit on that, but is there any way that we can investigate further? I mean, we've only had one bid, so.
But that's the thing. I mean, 3 other companies took the bid and didn't come out and bid it. We could refuse it and rebid it, but then we're gonna lose the temperature time a year and then we'd be working into the spring.
What,
And maybe even summer because it has to kind of wait.
what was the original bid? Did they offer something at the time or only
No,
only
we
told
were
you what the
just-
materials were?
When we were looking into the grant part, Karen has to get information from some people to say how much it would be. And, one person was, oh, it'd be like 29,000, so he wrote it down. But that person also never bid it, so.
Right.
We reached out to him, let him know it was out to bid and he never responded, so. Like I said, the only issue that I see that if we don't get it done this year, the grant has a time limit, which is one thing. And if we have to wait until next year, who knows if we'll ever get a grant like that
So
again.
the grant money will pay for how much of it?
We got 20,000 for the grant. So. And which we spent some money already because we did the blacktop. You know, we got a lot of help from the town of Wallkill, the highway department, helped us out that day. They were a
Right.
huge help, so.
It looked like 11,000 for asphalt, I think, right?
Yeah,
So-
11,000 for the asphalt, so. By the time we get said and done, we'll probably be almost 80,000 into it. But hopefully it'll last just like tennis court. It's been 20 something years, so.
Yeah.
All right, the refuge contract, the garbage contract for Woodsboro Hills. We had to rebid that this year because actually the lease or the contract ran out 2 years ago and we just kept renewing it and the Thompson Sanitation was good with that, so. But this year, their fees and everything else went pretty high, so. But they were still the lowest. We had 2 bids and Thompson Sanitation was still the lowest at 189,000. So. It increases, it's just really for Woodsboro Hills. It increases their taxes really only, that's about it. But they're still paying cheaper than a regular homeowner who gets garbage pickup. So we figure it's like $32 a pickup, where right now, if somebody has their own home, they're paying between $40 and $50, to have their garbage picked up unless they live in a municipality or a village.
Transportation, jeez.
Any questions on the contract? No, all right. 20 Old Turnpike. This house has kind of been a pain in the neck a little bit. So the people came here, did their little spiel, said that they were going to come into the building department within a month, give all kinds of plans and this, that, and the other thing. Well, that never happened. So, we talked to, actually Larry Paggi gave us, some numbers for a structural engineer. So we've been in contact with one. He's doing a research on it and gonna let us know what they think as far as if they think it's unsafe. And then we'll have to go that route with Ben and the lawyers from there on out. So I just put that on the work session so I could just give everybody an update on that. All right, next is set up public hearing for the short-term rental lease law. So we're gonna table this for a week or 2 weeks until the next meeting. Ben actually didn't get a chance to review it, so we're not gonna put it out to the public until, council has got a chance to review it and make sure that we're good with it and he's good with it. And so, we're gonna set a public hearing on October 1st, which is our next meeting. And, then we'll set up, public hearing after that, which will probably be October 22nd, I think, is the meeting after that. So, yeah, the 22nd. So, just give everybody a heads up on that. Next is set up a budget workshop. So we have a tentative, a budget. It was released to the board today, or actually Friday. So next Tuesday, we're gonna have a workshop to go over the budget, just the board will get together. If the public wants to come out and, look at it too, it will be online, I would imagine, after tonight. So as long as everybody here got to look at it. So,
Sorry,
that-
Mike, what's that date again?
it's gonna be a week from today, so that's 9/24 of 24 at 6 o'clock, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
My math is good.
Okay, next is a part-time Meek employee resignation. Ashley, who worked out there, I don't know if anybody had a chance to meet Ashley out there at the Meek. She did a great job. She helped out us a lot over the summer with the camps. Sorry to see her go, but she got a full-time job up in the county with Sullivan County Visitors Association. So we wish her luck. But tonight we have to approve her resignation, so. And
Does she stay? If she don't, if we don't approve it, we'll make her
no,
stay.
probably not. You sound like Jackie. Yeah. And then on number 12 is letter support for Legends and Laura Marker. So the town historian, Verdana, she came to us about the Sylvan Cemetery out on 209. There's some plaques out there of guys that, you know, can get historical markers, and she'd really like to put some up for very historical men that are buried there. The board's always been, you know, glad to help with that kind of stuff. We think it's important for the history of the Mamakating to be represented. So she couldn't make it today. She's away today. Yeah. We're going to send a letter of support for that. It had to be done by a non-for-profit. So, the Restoration Church wrote it out for her, and, you know, we just have to approve it. So. All right, that's it. Anybody have any questions on the workshop? No? All right. Business meeting, pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. All right, we had a long work session, so public comment today, 3 minutes each individual, 30-minute max for anything part of the work session. If anybody's got anything to say? Go ahead.
So I drive up to Liberty about twice a week and I go on Liberty roads. And I just have to say that I've been driving on these roads. In our highway department, we have a supervisor of highway on the agenda. Our highway department is way better than theirs. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Kathy. And I'm sure Tom agrees. All right, anybody else? No? All right, Brittany, you have anybody online?
I don't.
Okay. Just a little FYI, Brittany too. We're gonna have to fix these mics a little bit. They got quite the echo today for some reason. Might have been since that day I touched all the knobs. Sorry.
Noted.
All right. Next is Highway Superintendent Report.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for the compliments. I don't hear that all too often, but it is much appreciated. Before I get to the report that I sent to Karen, I just have one additional thought from what Mr. Paggi had just reported about the MS4 area, and that is that the Valley View and Cornfield subdivision is one of the very few subdivisions that the town of Mamakating is responsible for drainage. Now, I'm not talking about just culverts and pipes on the road, but actually pipes going through people's lawns, and it's starting to age and it has some issues. So at some point, we're gonna have to tackle that whole subdivision, all of the drains, all of the pipes going through people's backyards, down the centers of the houses, and then it tees, and then the culverts and the pipes along the roadway. So just keep that in mind. We have to note twice a year that we've cleaned the catch basins in these MS4 areas. So twice a year, the department's supposed to go out, clean the catch basins, and it's supposed to be noted. So what I think Mr. Podge is getting at is just imagine that that's kind of already a nuisance. It's not a bad idea, but it's a nuisance. Now imagine trying to do an already cumbersome revamp of an entire subdivision's drainage and now adding whatever regulations we're gonna have to follow per the DEC, which may include things like where we get our material from, whether it can come from outside that MS4 area into it, where that material that we dig up can go, all questions that have to be asked because they're kind of strict on this. You can't just take the pile of dirt that we got from Mrs. Smith's house and bring it over to the MS4 and dump it, because I don't believe that flies. Now, I'm not learning on it. I have a lot more studying to do. But so if there's a way to get kind of, it might behoove the town. So just my 2 cents on that. There's certainly more to come. So just a couple of things I had for my report. We finished paving this week, so we did a couple roads in the hills, and we finished cold paving Cox, Schoolmar Falls, Depot, and Adams Road. This is just this, so thank you for the compliment, because now I have to say this part, which is, unfortunately, while unpopular, the last thing we have to do is chip seal all those cold paved roads. That's where we put the tar down, and then we put the chips on top, and then everybody calls me and says, "Oh, no." But everybody, and this is why I'm telling you guys this, to your constituents of mine as well. It's necessary. The cold mix will not last a season if it's not chip sealed. This is not blacktop. This is very porous. This will blow right apart the minute the plow goes down if it's not chip sealed. It's a non-negotiable part of the process. And all of that, the cold mix and the chip seal is still cheaper than blacktop. The few roads we did in the hills, we use blacktop, they're fine. But the cold paved roads, bless them, need to be chip sealed, and then they really need to be chip sealed again every 5 years, which the state has just come down and said, via chips, they're gonna start doing that. It used to be 10 years for a resurface treatment. They've knocked it down to 5, which is what I believe it used to be. So again, while unpopular, it's what keeps these cold paved roads intact for the life of the road, which should be 10 to 15 years if you do it correctly, and that's a stretch probably. So that's upcoming. So just keep the good vibes coming. And I'll be hiding under a rock for a couple. We have a list of projects to complete now that we're done paving, so we're notching them off. So if you've called and you've had an issue, we're gonna try to get to the smaller stuff here. And we're gonna try to get one last mow in for the year, because I think we've been around the town 2 full times and you don't even know that we were there once. But at this point, if we don't get to your road, the snow will take care of it maybe. But we're gonna get back out there and try to tidy up a couple, especially the intersections where sight distance is becoming an issue. And then over the last few weeks, I just want to report that the county went around the town and striped a number of the roads that we had requested striped. Some portions more than what may have been thought of, but they did it. So
Can we talk about who's striping?
the county stripes it. We pay the county to stripe it.
Yeah, I know that
We have.
there's been some roads that,
Oh, I'm aware.
I believe you have said that they put
Remember,
their,
this meeting is fun for you guys, but I get it all day and all night.
they put the,
I go to my mom's house for dinner and I hear about Shawang Lodge Road, Shawang Lodge Road. Yeah.
they
Trust me, I know.
they get guys that are still looking to get their license and they say, "Hey,
they're-
you want to try that?"
It's a process. You just gotta learn it. Once they learn it, he's good. So, but that was done. So now I'm gonna go sit down and thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Tom. All right, next is supervisor report. I really don't have too much tonight. Just, which I mentioned already, the tentative budget's done. We'll be doing a workshop next Tuesday. On a personal note, I'd like to thank the board. Last week at the work session, we kind of wrapped up the STR law to a point. The public still has to say, but it was a very tough situation to do. It was divided the community, which is not always a good thing. It divided us for a little while because some people had one view and some people had the other view. And I think the board really worked hard together and we did a great job, I think. That we stuck together and, compromised as best we can. So I just wanted to thank the board myself because I know it wasn't easy. We waited for some help from other people, which never came through. So then we got back on it and it's still, everybody's not gonna be happy. There's gonna be situations where, it's tougher for some than others and, but, the public will still have say at our public hearing. And, we'll tackle it from there on out. Not saying that it's 100%, because I don't think it probably will be, but I think the board worked really well together and I think we did a pretty good job. I want to thank Mary and Kira for helping us with the whole situation. They did a lot of the administrative part of it, so that was it on that. I'd just like to thank everybody. And even, the town that came out and voiced their opinion at all our workshops. I mean, besides this last one, I think we always had 15, 20. It's not as much as some other towns. I was told from the Bethel that they were getting upwards to 70 to 80 people in the workshop. So, but we liked everybody's input and we accepted everybody's input except for the last meeting because we were pretty much wrapped up. So, and that's it on my report.
Mike, can I make a comment about that too? I think the idea that a year in that we're gonna review that and tweak if there's some issues, I think this shows that we understand that we're not really sure what we're getting into. I think that's a big part of it too. So,
Yeah.
I mean, instead of us thinking we know all the answers, I'm sure we're gonna learn something from it too.
All right.
I'll join in.
Okay.
I want to thank you for your leadership on how it went. I think we have a pretty incredible board here. You all get along really, really well. Very, very little infighting, and we've been able to hash out our differences. I think the public, the residents, everybody's had their say. I think everybody's listened to them, and it's made a big effect on what we've come up with. It's been really, to me, it's been a very interesting. I've enjoyed it. It's been challenging, but I think what we're coming up with is something that represents the public as a whole, as best as we can do. And I think overall, I think we came up with a pretty good plan. So, I think as a compromise and everything else. And I want to thank you for your guidance.
Thanks, Peter. All right, we'll keep going. Ratified 2024 abstract number 19 for $71,670.51. Can I get a motion? Motion by Tyler,
Second.
second by John Roofer. All in favor? Aye. Next is 2024 abstract number 20.
Motion.
I must have still the old do you have a number on them?
Motion.
498, 177.10. Yep. All right, thank you, Kathy. Can I get a motion for that?
Motion.
Motion by Gary,
Second.
second by John Roofer. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody get a chance to look at all the financial reports? Yeah, luckily I was able to print a lot of them and went out sick today, so I didn't get all of them. The bank statements.
Motion to accept the financial reports.
Motion by John Roofer,
Second.
second by Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approval of the minutes from 8/20/24.
Motion.
Motion by Gary,
Second.
second by Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, resolutions. A, approve budget modifications.
Motion.
Motion by Tyler,
Second.
second by Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
Appoint Andrew Mendicott to the Board of Assessment Review, term ending 9/30/2029.
Motion.
Motion by Gary,
Second.
second by John Roofer. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
accept the bids for gasoline, fuel oil, heating, diesel engine fuel, calcium and rock salt.
Motion.
Motion by Peter,
Second.
second by Tyler, all in favor?
Aye.
Award the bid for pickleball tennis court painting to A Plus Striping in the amount of 57,000 to be paid from the Park Midland Fund.
Motion.
Motion by Gary,
You skipped a D.
Second.
second by John Roofer. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed?
I'm gonna abstain. I'm not quite ready there.
All right. One abstain, okay. Peter abstained. All right, I missed D.
Yeah.
So approval of the lease for the trooper barracks,
I'll motion to approve.
motion by Peter,
Second.
second by John Roofer. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Just quick note on that. It's actually almost done, the trooper barracks. The armory door, which is like a special order door, it keeps getting pushed back and it hasn't come in yet. So that's why it hasn't been completed yet. So just a little FYI on that. F, award bid for refuge contract for Wurtsboro Hills to Thompson Sanitation for the amount of 189,000.
Motion to approve the.
Motion by Peter,
Second.
second by Matt, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the next one, G, is for the local law of short-term rentals. We're gonna wait on that one. And then, letter H, set a budget workshop for 9/24 of 24 for 6 o'clock.
Motion.
Motion by Peter,
Second.
second by Tyler, all in favor?
Aye.
Accept the resignation of Ashley Demira from part-time position at the Meek.
Motion.
Motion by Gary,
Second.
second by Tyler, all in favor?
Aye.
Ratify approval for letter of support for Legends and Lore Historical Marker.
Motion.
Motion by Matt,
Second.
second by Peter, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, committee reports.
All right, Parks and Rec, summer camp is over and the pool is closed for the season. Halloween party will be on, October 25th, 2024, looking for volunteers for various things. Grilling hot dogs, creating haunted house, pumpkin patch, etc. And finally, tickets go on sale on October 1st for Aladdin on Broadway.
Thanks, Sean.
Yep.
Anybody else have any committees?
I have a report from the assessor's office for August. In August, the assessor received a total of 81 deeds. Broken down, the town, Mamakating had 74 of them, Village of Bloomingburg had 2, and the Village of Wurtsboro had 5. There were 12 address changes. I don't know what that means, other than people don't want to live where they are. Combos and splits, she explained what this was, and I don't recall. There's 14 of them. Number of permits processed for valuation was 4. 3 of those were in the town. 1 of them was in the Village of Wurtsboro. Number of permits processed for non-value were 15. And that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, on that one, right? All right. So we're gonna go back because Karen just advised me that on number C, where we accepted the bids for gasoline, fuel oil, heating oil, diesel, fuel, calcium, and rock salt, there isn't sand on there, which we have on the bid.
Okay.
So, can I get a re-motion? on
Just
that?
just do a new motion on sand alone.
Just on the sand alone?
Yeah, if you can do it either way.
Motion to accept the bid on sand.
Motion by John Roofer,
Second.
second by Tyler, all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Karen. And then, any announcements? We have any announcements? Any parties coming up? Any functions?
We
Anybody?
have a big party tomorrow night at 6 o'clock here in the seniors' room. My last board meeting for the year. I promise a great time. Please stop by. There'll be plenty of snacks and stimulating conversation,
And it's gonna be on Zoom.
possibly.
Possible.
Well, hell, if you're gonna get ready for that, then gear up for the October party because it's gonna be a blast. I don't have the date off the top of my head, but it's on a Thursday. Ward 4 will be following Ward 3. Everybody can come out. I want the whole town there. I'm sorry? 10-10. That's why I picked it. 10-10.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Public comment, 3 minutes each individual, 30-minute max for any new business. Anything new?
Oh, I have to sign it. Hi, I'm Elizabeth up at Yankee Lake. So we have a pickleball court and we did use A+ striping. How many pickleball courts are you doing? Because,
4 plus a tennis court.
oh, so in 2021, we paid about 1,700.
1,700?
Yes. And we have a regulation size basketball court, like for professionals. And then we had,
Did you
So,
just do the white lines?
no, he did
Blue?
pickleball, the yellow, right?
It's, oh yeah.
2021, so that's a lot of money, but it was A+. They did an excellent job. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many courts do you have? Oh. Yeah. Six, well, yeah, 4 pickleball and 1 tennis court. Yeah, we did, no, we did the blacktop already. Yeah. Yeah, the lines, 3 colors and the white lines. So we have 3 colors for the tennis court.
And drilling holes.
We're also drilling holes for the nets.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so you did it all in one little blacktop. I think I seen it. It's behind I seen it behind the clubhouse, right? Yeah.
I don't know, I'm sort of starting to have reservations on my yes vote. Can I make a motion to table?
Well, that's fine. Like I said, we're just gonna run out of,
Resolution E?
we're gonna run out of time. Well, that's right. I mean, we have until October 1st with the grant. I mean, I really wish other people would have admitted it. We probably would have had more competition, but because it's that amount, we have to put it out to bid. Well, yeah, no, we've heard that too from other people about A1, so. You know,
Probably.
well, no, another gentleman that was supposed to bid it, he also told me that the paint has gone through the roof in the last year. And it's a special paint. Right. And we're doing our whole blacktop. Like, we're not just doing the courts, like. Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah. So. I am more than welcome to Matt, if you want to change your vote.
Based on the time constraints. I'll leave it alone.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks. Anybody else have any comments? All right, Brittany, do you have anybody online?
I don't.
Okay. But we don't have an executive session, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion by Peter,
Second.
second by Matt, all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. We'll see you on the first.